Hey, what's up? It's your boy ShadowLocz. I got another video for you guys. This time we are covering combat tips for Nioh 3. If you've played Nioh 2, you're already aware. But if you are new to the Nioh series, this is going to massively help you with your playthrough. So the first thing we're going to start out with is equipment weight management. So the main thing about this is to always be aware of your equipment weight. We have different classes. We have A rank, B rank, C rank, and D rank. So A rank is blue, B rank is green, and C rank is yellow. D rank is gonna be red. So what I'm gonna show you guys right here are the differences between the different roles, and also the stamina that you consume when you're dodging around. So as you see, the weight goes up, the amount of ki that you have to perform certain movements is drastically reduced. So the pros and cons for A rank are you get increased speed, but your defense is low. For B rank, that's like the sweet spot where you really want to be at. You get the best of both worlds, good defense and speed. C rank, more defense, you're a lot slower. And if you're in D rank, you went wrong completely somewhere. So you never want to be in D ranking with your equipment weight. So the next tip is the first investment. When you first get your skill points or your level up points, you want to first put your points into your HP. So I would say, rule of thumb, get your HP at least up to level 10, then work on your ki. It gives you a good baseline to start out with. So the next one is divide and conquer. Always survey the field before you jump straight in. The best thing is like just try to separate the enemies or take them out one at a time. So if you're in a village and there's maybe like a couple humans around, I would recommend using a rifle or a bow, either eliminating one with a headshot or drastically decreasing their amount of HP, making it easier for you to kill them first. That will leave two enemies, which is a lot easier to deal with. You never want to jump into a situation where there's more than 3 enemies at one time, especially in the beginning of your playthrough, because you will be overwhelmed fairly easily because you have low ki. Speaking of ki, that's going to be our next topic. Ki is critical, man. I mean, as much as your armor, your weapon, your attack power, stat points, with Nioh, your ki is essential. There is no boss in this game that is going to be harder than ki. If you don't know how to properly manage your ki, or you didn't invest enough points into your ki, you're going to have a rough time. You're going to gas out quick. If an enemy hits you pretty hard, your stamina bar will completely be depleted, often leaving you open for a death blow. So as I said earlier, the first things that I would recommend you putting points into would be your life and your ki. So we're on to weak points. Every enemy has a weak point for the most part. So I'll start with humans because they're simpler to explain. Humans, just attacking them, getting behind them, or a good headshot often is the best way to deal with humans, like human bosses. But be aware there are some human bosses that can buff themselves so they can get super armor. So that kind of negates their whole weak point thing, but stay aware of that. But outside of that, attacking from behind and headshots will typically do the trick. Now, yokai is a little bit more tricky because there's different yokai and each yokai has different weak points. But typically they'll have Amarita crystals crystallized on their body somewhere, whether it's claws, horns, teeth, something on their back, legs, hands, and maybe even a weapon. So typically you want to aim to break those. Once you break those, it'll cause a massive amount of damage to their HP and also a massive amount of damage to their ki bar, making you give you an advantage in almost being able to break their ki for a critical hit. So with this boss, like you see the yellow on his head, that will be his weak point. So you want to try to aim for those and try to damage those, and that will give you a huge edge in battle. Also, be aware, not all weak points are made equally. There are some yokai whose weak points are covered up and are only open doing certain attacks, usually a burst attack, and that's going to be the next thing we get into. So burst breaks are situational moves that we can use. So it's essentially when the enemy they're using an attack where they have a dark red aura around them. That's a burst attack. So you have to time it right at the right moment using your burst break, and it will allow you to counter. It will do drastic amount of damage to their ki. It also gives you a window of opportunity to just kind of just hammer them with attacks. Every enemy's burst attack is different. I mean, the attack itself is different, and also the timing of the attack is different. So certain bosses you'll come across where the only issue you have with them is the burst attack. If that's the case, I would recommend really try to focus in on that exact timing, because like I say, it's different on here. On Nioh 2 we had Pharaoh mode, which you could pretty much counter every burst attack because you could just run into them, so your timing didn't necessarily have to be as accurate as it does on here. On here we have a short window for our burst break, so if you miss it you will be left open. Most burst attacks you can dodge or block. Just be aware that blocking is not always the best idea, because a lot of times if you block a burst attack, depending on how strong it is, it will either just break your guard wide open, leaving you vulnerable, or if it's strong enough and it's a duration burst attack, it'll break your guard, leaving you vulnerable, and you'll just take damage from the attack, which will often kill you. So with that being said, I'm going to show you guys a boss fight against a high ranking demon. I'm going to be implementing some of the skills that I showed you guys as far as divide and conquer, key management. Also, I just want to add to this, placement and being aware of your surroundings is also critical. At some point during this fight, you're going to see me use the environment around me to either block attacks or try to get an advantage, get a breather, to do certain things that may take time and leave me open. And also, I will also use them as a way to kind of help me keep distance. Do not be afraid to keep distance from certain enemies and just wait for that opportunity for you to go in, strike. You want to get in, get out. Some enemies you can stay up on, some enemies, if you stay too close to them, it will be disadvantage. So I'm going to show you guys this boss battle. If you like the content, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know if these tips help you out. Let's lock in. So these are my stats for the fight and the Guardian Spirit that I use. You don't have to be super overpowered. Just implement all the tips that I showed you. And there's no enemy in this game you won't be able to cut down.